YarnGasm, and this is episode 114. It's Sunday afternoon, July 27th, and yeah, I am recording for a very long time in consecutive weeks. So I'm trying to make up for lost time, if you will. But anyway, kind of overcast out. It was a little sunny before, but not to talk about the weather. Anyway, lots to talk about this week because I know last week's episode was a little short, so I've got lots to talk about this week. Last weekend, me and Dennis went up to Cape Cod, like we do in summer. We have a house out there, and we had a great time. We had the house to ourselves. We ate lobster to our heart's content. In case you're curious, we went on a lobster roll cruise the day I recorded, and it was awesome. So great. I mean, they had, a bar, you got to watch the sunset, and then they called you down, then they served you lobster rolls, what have you. It was great. Yeah, and we also went hiking, and then we got beach time in because the weather there wasn't so great the first 2 days we were there, but of course the last day was beautiful, so we kind of squoze in some beach time. I didn't go in the water because it's cold, and I'm chicken when it comes to freezing cold temperatures in water. So I don't know. I'm not a polar bear, which kind of baffles me because when I was little, I used to love spending hours and hours at the beach. Now I just can't do it. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, we did get beach in, and then we drove home, and I got a lot of knitting done. So yeah, it was a great time. I think we're planning another long weekend getaway on Labor Day weekend. Yeah, it's Labor Day. I always get those two confused, like Memorial Day weekend and Labor Day weekend, two American holidays that are just very similar because one marks the beginning of summer vacation, so to speak, and one that kind of ends it, which is kind of sad. But yeah, Labor Day weekend, we're gonna actually try and get up to Maine, which I really like. I love Maine because there's a lobster. I love lobster. Yeah, not enough said. But anyway. I'm babbling. Okay, let's get to it. A couple of updates. I have show notes this week. I feel very prepared. Classic Must Knits Cal that I am hosting alongside Molly from the Homespun podcast. So, but yeah, a Homespun House podcast is hosted by Molly, and she's based out in Germany, but it's an English-spoken podcast. But I highly recommend you check it out because she's lovely, she's wonderful. She gets so much more crafting done than I can ever imagine, and I just love seeing what she comes up with each week. But yeah, we've been chatting, and we decided to host a knit-along together. So the Classic Must Knits knit-along, which kicks off August 1st. I've been meaning to catch up with her and just kind of work out some details as far as rules and whatnot, but our schedules are kind of skewed, so I'm just gonna put it out there, and if anything changes before August 1st, I will let you know. But initially, it kicks off August 1st, and the idea is to choose a pattern that has been popular, that everyone seems to be knitting or has been knitting since, this whole Ravelry knitting craze started. But yeah, what I'm talking about is like Ishbel by Isolde Teague, Turner Square Hat by Jared Flood, Cobblestone, The Pullover by Jared Flood, the Featherweight Cardigan by Hannah Fettig, what else I'm thinking, the Aeolian Shawl on Knitty, all these patterns that have just been classic, like just everyone's cast them on, and you've always wanted to cast something on like this. Now's your chance. So I have a running list. Me and Molly both separately on our podcast pages, we both have threads with a running list of all these patterns that were suggested by you guys. And if you haven't, I highly recommend you do. Or if you don't know you want to join the knit along but you don't know what to knit, definitely check it out because there's so many great ideas in there. But yeah, so, okay, rules. I don't like rules. I really don't like rules when it comes to knit-alongs. But if we must establish some kind of, whatever you want to call it. As I mentioned for the third time, I think, it kicks off August 1st, and I would like to have it run until, just to give you guys enough time, October 1st. So I think that gives you like a solid 2 months. And depending, a lot of people are talking about casting on a beekeeper quilt. I mean, if you can do it. I'm not gonna say that you have to finish before August 1st. There are gonna be prizes, but I just want this to be a fun knit along. If you want it, if it just kickstarts your craving to cast this on, just cast on away. There's no official like start or end date. If you want to cast on now, go ahead. This is just to kind of motivate you to cast on that pattern that you've always wanted to cast on. Oh, I feel like that was a lot of babbling, but anyway, you can tell I'm kind of in a good mood today, and bubbly. But what else? But yeah, more. There are prizes. I'm going to talk about one a little bit later, but if you would like to contribute a prize to the Cal giveaway, I'm going to be doing a giveaway. I have to talk to Molly. I don't know if she's doing a giveaway as well, but there is another giveaway that I want to talk about. But yeah, so more to come on that. But yes, cast on August 1st. Okay. So, wow. Oh my goodness. I feel like I was babbling on about that. I apologize. I will be talking about shop update for Voolenvine yarns. That won't come till the end of the show, so if you're not interested, you don't have to sit through it. But yes, I do want to remind everybody who is interested in the yarn club. There are only 10 spots left, and signups are being held until July 31st. So after that, you won't be able to get the colors until the final shipment has been shipped out. So, yeah, just FYI. And also, just another side note, the camera. I'm using my webcam again because some of you were emailing me complaining about the autofocus. It was just being too crazy. So I did a little research, and it seems the only way to get that to not happen, the crazy autofocus thing, is to just put it on manual, which kind of I haven't tested it out yet. It's an option, but to get the great video quality that I was getting, which I love, without the crazy back and forth autofocus thing, I'd have to sit there and like manually adjust the lens, which I imagine would get a little annoying. So I didn't have time to play around with it, so I'm playing it safe this week. I'm using my webcam. But yeah, just a side note. And thank you for bearing with me last week on the podcast when I podcasted from Cape Cod. I did not have my usual setup. I recorded from my iPad, and I didn't have the normal intro and outro thing. So, in case you're wondering, thanks for sticking with me. But yeah, okay, let's get on to knitting, because this is a knitting podcast, and spinning and hand dyeing podcast. So let's get on to what's off my needles. Well, first of all, I'm wearing it. This is my handspun my very, very first handspun FO, if you will. This is my the fiber that I spun it with was Corgi Hill Farms. No, it's singular. Corgi Hill Farm on Etsy. She dyes up the most wonderful, gorgeous colorways, and I fell in love with this, and of course it sold out immediately, and I emailed her and I was like, hey, could you do me a favor and dye up another skein of that for me? And she's like, oh yeah, I'd love to, so custom order, awesome. And it's Polworth with a touch of silk in it, I believe. I don't have a label on me, but it's so lovely and springy, and I blocked it. Fine. I showed this to you last week, but I blocked it. And here she is. I still have to weave in the ends, but I will get to that. And the pattern, important, right? Is the Tan House Brook shawl by Jenny. Hang on, I want to get her last name right. Jennifer Lassand, also known as Boston Jen on Ravelry. So she kindly gifted me the pattern, and I loved knitting this up. I knit it literally in like 3 days. It was that fast because the fiber that I spun up turned out to be a worsted weight. Surprisingly, I thought it was going to be at least like a DK, but no, it turned out to be worsted weight. So perfect, and I cast it on the way up to Cape Cod, and I finished it 2 days later. And I did run out of yarn. I didn't complete the pattern all. Like you can see, there was gonna be some garters. There was gonna be a garter stitch border to that, but yeah, I ran out of yarn, and I kind of eyeballed it. Like I said to myself, I know I'm gonna have enough to knit a good part of this shawl, so I just took a gamble, and I did, and I love the way it turned out. But what I really loved about this pattern was that it just kept you engaged. I mean, it's a simple potato chip knit, but it changes very often. So no, it's not like too repetitive. So it's like a good book. I think I made that analogy once before, but yeah, it was like a really good book, a really good knit. So, but yeah, I'm going to get a close up. Just a lot of it's very eyelet heavy, and then you have like this really nice texture, like 3-row texture stitch in between, and it repeats twice. But it's so lovely. And I really love it. I want to spin this up again, like, because the colors are just so beautiful. Like, you got that sea glass green and like a yellowy peach, then that cranberry wine, and then I'm not huge into camouflage, but I really love the way this colorway spun up. The last bit, it's just like camo green, but it has like flecks of peach in there, so it's just, love it. So yeah, that's one thing off my needles. What else? Let's see. I'm gonna take the shawl off because it's hot out. I wanted to show it off to you guys. So let's do the rest without the shawl on, shall we? Next off my needles that I also finished while I was at Cape Cod was my hand dyed BFL Sea Lab socks. Yay! I finished them. These, you guys, are my first legitimate toe up socks that I finished with an afterthought heel. And yeah, the one thing, but yeah, this is my Sea Lab colorway on my footsie BFL / nylon base. And I actually dyed up some more of this for you guys if you're interested in purchasing it from my shop. But yeah, so what was I going to talk about? Okay, so since these were my first toe up heel socks, I did not take into consideration that the bind off would be an important aspect of knitting them, because you have to do a totally different bind off when it comes to knitting toe up socks, because bind offs in general, like a basic bind off, is not stretchy. So I knit the ribbing, which is stretchy, and then the bind off, not so stretchy. And many of you emailed me and let me know, like, told me about Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. Thank you. That was awesome. I was actually on the beach when I finished the second sock, and I started these when I went to Mexico. So yeah, these have kind of been, it was time for these to get cast off. But yeah, I was on the beach and I actually had wonderful reception there, and I was just like sitting there watching a YouTube tutorial on how to do Jenny's stretchy bind off. So I did Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, and it is surprisingly stretchy. The only thing I would probably do next time is, they were all knit stitch cast offs, or bind off I should say, and there's a way to do it with purl stitches, so knit knit purl purl, and I just have to learn how to do that. So that's gonna be on my to-do list. But yeah, I'm super excited about these. Total learning curve for me, because not only it was like a toe up sock, afterthought heel sock, which I never really do, or just started getting into it, and then Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. Yeah, so very excited about these, and I really love the way these knit up. It almost has like the BFL, I don't know what it is, it's growing on me. It's strong and it has like that nice little sheen to it, so I could tell these are gonna last a long time. So I'm working on my sock drawer, guys. But also I put a major dent. I showed this to you last week, but since I have my sock blockers, I'll just kind of put it on there. I knit up my Everything is Awesome rainbow sock. These are so happy. Oh my gosh. This is just a basic, my go-to sock pattern on my Lush base. So it's merino nylon cashmere, and it's super soft. And I really love the way these knit up. So yeah, I mean, this is the finished one. And then I'm already, let me see, what did I do with, guys? Okay. Okay, so here I am on the second one. So I'm making headway. And these are my Knitter's Pride Carbons US 1.5s, which I'm really liking. They're light, they're not too pointy, and they're pretty durable. The reason why I switched, I think these were originally on my my Knit Picks Caspians, but those broke. I have the worst luck with wooden knitting needles. They break on me. I step on them, I sit on them. I'm not allowed to use wooden knitting needles anymore unless I'm going on a plane. That's my new rule. No more knitting with wooden needles because I just break them. It's bad. But anyway, I love these. And yeah, so that's where I am with that. I think that's all I have for what's off my needles. Yeah. So I've got stuff on my needles. I guess that is considered what's, what I've been working on these past few days since I last spoke to you. But what else? I think that is it. Yeah. So let's move on to spinning because I have been spinning like a mad woman as usual. But first of all, I want to talk about some fiber that I'm actually going to be reviewing that I am currently reviewing. Erin from I'm so bad with names. Rock and String Creations. She was so kind. She actually emailed me. Well, she PM'd me on Ravelry and wanted to know if I wanted to review her fiber. She actually came out with some gorgeous alpaca merino pencil roving, and so kindly sent me a braid of it to review. So here's her label. I just tore it off, but Rock and String Creations, and she's on Etsy. So let me get the braid. Here it is. Okay. I had it rolled up, but so nicely, but now it's all kind of, and it's so oh my gosh, this is so soft. I just want to cuddle with it. It's so soft. It is 70% alpaca, 30% merino, and 4 ounces. It's 4 ounces pencil roving in her mermaid colorway. And I love it. It's just teals, blues, purples, and grays. And I've been spinning a little bit on it. And it's spinning up actually kind of thick. I think I could spin it thinner if I wanted to, but I don't know. It's just the way I'm spinning it up. It just calls out like it wants to be a hat or something, or a pair of mittens. And this is how it's spinning up. Just really, really pretty and soft. So yeah, that's how it's going. And I can't wait to just kind of, I know I have to plow through a long braid of it. It's a long braid, so 4 ounces. And this is gonna be like a really awesome hat or a pair of gloves. So excited. So thank you, Erin. I will continue to report on how this is spinning up for me and how it knits up. And I hope to maybe when I'm done at least swatch and knit and block it, and just so you can see like how the fiber drapes and whatnot. But definitely check out her stuff. She has some lovely colorways on there. So yeah, that's that. And then what else am I spinning? Yeah. I have something finished. Hang on. Oh my goodness. I finished spinning my gourmet stash. This has been way overdue. I should have finished this a long time ago, but I've been just so distracted with all these other pretties that I've just kind of been like, wait, I have to finish that. Gourmet stash, obligatory. It's part sloppy, but anyway. A gourmet stash, fibery tribbles in her obligatory chocolates colorway. So it came with like 6 different tribbles. So you have like you can see kind of like a caramel chocolate, mint chocolate, and raspberry truffle. And it's so soft. I have the fiber content here, but it's like a whole mishmash of like silk, alpaca, yak, or camel. I'm probably making stuff up right now, but yeah, I think some of that's in here. Silk, stellina, merino. She creates like the most wonderful stuff. Also on my wheel, I'm spinning up some hobbledehoy batlings because I can't get enough of them. I think I showed you, it's all the way over there, but I showed it to you on another one. But I'm making my way. These are sun-kissed colorways. So yeah, definitely a lot out of my comfort zone. You got some blood reds in there, orange, blues. These are just so fun to spin up. And they've got like bits of silk in there that it's definitely an art yarn. And I definitely want to knit kind of like a blanket, or just kind of like build an arsenal of squares, if you will, as if I don't have another. I need to build more square arsenals. I don't know. I'm already working on Vivid, which is kind of taking a back seat this week. But so this is my hobbledehoy that I've been working on. Very fluffy and bouncy. And yeah, what else? For the record, guys, I think I'm going to be reverting back to my camera next episode because this is like the 5th or 6th time that I've actually had to stop recording and start a new window because a plane flew over and airplane flutter. I can't deal. I'm losing my mind doing it. But yeah, okay. So just a heads up, I'm going to do my best to make it less autofocusy. But anyway, what else spinning wise? Yes. I purchased this last week while I was at Cape Cod. I saw it online and I jumped on it because I was like, Dennis needs a pair of socks or a hat or mittens spun out of this. I already dug into it. Can you tell? And this is from the Yarn Wench. And the colorway is denim and leather merino wool top, 4.1 ounces. Here's your card. Let's see. There you go. And it's very lovely. Just a lot of white. There's some white in there. There's some caramel browns, dark brown, and navy blue. A little hint of pink, but I think it'll break up the brown and the blue very nicely. It'll just add that little extra dimension. And Dennis loved it. I showed it to him. I'm like, do you want a pair of socks or hats or mittens out of this? And he goes, yeah. So into the cart it went, and now it's mine. And it'll be Dennis's soon. So, but I'm having a lot of fun spinning it up. And I apologize for the crinkling as usual. Into the bag it goes. And I'll show you how much I spun. Yeah, so it's spinning up very, very fine. I anticipate it is going to be fingering weight yarn. But yeah, you can see it's barber pulling a little bit. Lots of golden, yellow, chocolatey, mocha browns. I haven't really gotten into the blue yet, but it's getting there. So the other conundrum that I face, Miss Bella, I was spinning away and my orifice hook for my Lendrum dropped on the floor. And normally she stays away from all my yarn, all my fiber. She's really good about that. But of course, the orifice hook is like a little piece of wood with metal and it rolls around. And of course she thinks toy. So she started kicking it around like a soccer ball. And I was like, you know what? I'll let her play with it for a little bit. I'll find it, whatever. She's going to play with it for like 2 minutes. And then of course later I couldn't find it. And I asked her, I sat her down, I'm like, what did you do with mommy's orifice hook? Where'd you keep the little thingy? And she's like just looking at me like, who, me? What? I'm like, yeah. So it's around. I just have to find it. It's probably underneath the refrigerator, underneath a cabinet or some crazy thing like that. But if not, I'll just have to get another one. As one does. So yeah, it's ridiculous. But other than that, I have a fiber stash enhancement. And this is from, it's a whole bag. This is from Ingle Nook Fibers. And she's on Etsy. And I'll take one out so you can see. It's so lovely and so soft. Merino, Polworth, faux cashmere, bamboo, silk noil, Firestar, and Angelina. And there's 3.5 ounces. And the colorway is called Lupines. And I love it. It spoke to me. Yeah, so soft. Cannot wait to dive into this. I want to spin all the things all of a sudden. It's crazy. But here's her card. Very Art Nouveau, which is cool. There's fiber on it. So yeah, that's what I'm stashing at the moment. So on to shop update. So if you are not interested in that, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. But if you are interested in what I'm updating in my shop, stick around because I have lots to talk about apparently. I dyed up some skeins yesterday. So let me see. I'll see if I can show them to you. They're still kind of damp, but I anticipate updating the shop at the end of the day. But here we go. I dyed up 2 skeins of, as I mentioned, C-Lab, the socks that I showed you at the beginning, my finished objects. It's a little brighter than my socks, but I really love the way it turned out. It's like, this camera isn't doing it justice, but it's like a really rich, bold teal with like some green and some navy blue in there. Just like a really bright peacock color, if you will. But yeah, that's C Lab. I have it in my footsie base, which is a BFL nylon blend, and I also dyed it up on Lush, my merino nylon cashmere fingering weight. This one is called Ava and Lena on my footsie base again. The reason why I called it Ava and Lena is because that's what I was thinking. I was thinking I really need to watch 300 on iTunes because I'm apparently girl crushing on Ava Green and Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, and they're both in there, and I think they're awesome. So I just decided, I can name the yarn that way. But yeah, it's like a purple. You can kind of see it, but it's like a lavender, deep lavender purple with like flecks of magenta in there and like some greens. And it's like really, I like it. I really do. Some white, like these two are both shaded. So, and then I dyed up some more Cockle Cove. I had this for a while. I just never got around to reskinning it. So this is also on my footsie base. I've been dyeing up a lot of BFL lately, guys, and I love it. So, got some hay in there. There's some hay in the yarn. What do you know? Check that out. Okay. So yeah, Cockle Cove, and then this one I really like the way it turned out. And this is on my Lush base. I haven't named it yet, and I have to reskein it. That's why the little ribbon's on there. But yeah, it's like an orange, blood orange, like magenta, mauve kind of colorway, and I really like the way it turned out. So there's that, and then what else? Oh, I also dyed up C Lab on Eros, which is my lace base, which is a whole bunch of gorgeous things. It's baby alpaca, cashmere, nylon. I have to check the notes, but you can tell it dyed up. It took the color. For some reason, this base takes up color a lot. The colors turn out a little bit more muted and subtle on Eros, because like it's not. I mean, it's a little faded on the lace compared to the sock yarn, but I really like that effect, because when you're knitting lace, you kind of want it to be like a light, airy color, and I think it takes it up beautifully and has like a wonderful effect on it. But yeah, the green is not so prominent, but it's like a very lovely kind of, romantic teal, if you will. So yeah, there's that, and I think that's it. I dyed up some more Pandora and some more Neptunia, so those are all on the shop. And what else? Yeah, this is just in a tangle. I have to reskein it. It's a little ridiculous that this is what happens. But yeah, you probably can guess the amount of work that goes into reskeening these things. This is Pandora, so it just has to be reskeened. Just a lovely color base, one of my favorites. And I actually started dyeing fiber. I've been playing around, and I'm very happy with the way this one turned out. But yeah, I dyed up Pandora on Polwarth. Yay! So excited. I have some more that I dyed up that I'm actually letting dry right now, but I think Molly was, poking me on Instagram, and she's like, hey, waiting for you to dye up some more of this for me. And Molly, if you want it, it's yours. Let me know. But yeah. But yeah, definitely lots of fiber. I'm thinking after October, after the Yarn Club is over with, I'm gonna start selling fiber, so stay tuned for that. Very excited. And I started spinning up the one that I dyed before that I wasn't too happy with the quality, because I think I let it felt a little bit, but I really like the way it turned out. But yeah, so yeah, that is pretty much it for this episode. I'm putting together all the packages for the first shipment for the Yarn Club. I'm super excited about it. I love the way it's like all coming together. I'm still in the midst of dyeing up the final skeins and everything, but there are going to be some surprises in there, and I just love the packaging. I'm a nut when it comes to packaging. I just like making things look pretty, because presentation is everything. So, but yeah, that's a lot of fun for me right now. I just wish I had more time during the day because it's a crunch when you have a day job and you come home and you've got to work on, another thing. But the fact that I truly love doing it makes all the difference. So I don't mind it. But yeah, it's an it's a long day, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. But I'm so psyched. But anyway, yeah. That said, I hope everyone has an awesome week ahead of you, and definitely check out the YarnGasm Ravelry thread for the knit along list and everything. There's links to patterns and everything like that, so check it out. Join the YarnGasm Facebook group. Lots and lots of conversation, lots of conversation happening in that group, and the Voolenvine Yarns Ravelry thread and Facebook page. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Voolenvine there, VOOLENVINE. Check out my website, VOOLENVINE.com, Voolenvine.com. So, yeah, that's a lot of info, guys. But yeah, have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye. La 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 la.